by emergency managers who ran the city on their own say-so and who reported only to the governor and not to the voters of this city. A state-appointed emergency manager signed the order to get ready for drinking water from Flint River. A state-appointed emergency manager presided over the switch. That is how this happened. Is fixing that part of fixing this crisis? Yes. Back with us now, Flint Mayor Karen Weaver. She's joined by Senator Debbie Stabenow of Michigan and the Reverend Charles Williams, who's president of the National Action Network of Michigan. Thank you all very much for being here. I really appreciate it. Mayor Weaver, let me start with you. It is clear to me that getting rid of the democratic process in Flint is part of how this happened. When I look at people from Flint holding jugs of dirty water and saying, this is terrible, we got to reverse this, and having nobody able to hear those complaints who could do anything about it, I realize, okay, there's the breakdown. If democracy is restored in Flint, is that going to help solve this problem?
Democracy needs to be restored in Flint. That's what's happened. That's how we got here. We didn't have a voice. It was taken. And when you're elected, even under emergency manager, when you're elected, you are supposed to speak up and speak out on behalf of the people that got you. That didn't happen in our case. It didn't happen in our case. And we need democracy. That's how we are heard as a community. That's how we're heard as a voice. And it wasn't in place for the citizens of Flint.
Reverend Williams, you've been such an activist, along with a lot of other people in Michigan. Right. You've been one of the activists who's really highlighted the dangers of the emergency manager law. Do you think the Flint crisis will change the emergency manager law and its politics and its viability here?
Well, you know, I was thinking about what I was going to say on the way here, and I felt like Marshawn Lynch. All I got to say is Governor Snyder got to go. $1.2 billion of surplus money sitting right in Lansing right now because Governor Snyder cut welfare, because Governor Snyder cut pensioners, because Governor Snyder gave $2 billion to his fat cat folks in Michigan, and you can't find $1.2 billion to make sure that pipes are going in the ground right now. The governor needs to dig those pipes immediately.
Senator Stabenow, the federal government has stepped up in a lot of ways. Yes. Obviously, there were problems in terms of the EPA's response. The federal government was not blameless here. Yeah. But since the crisis has come to light, the federal government has been devoting a lot of resources to this. That's, on its face, good. Is it also letting the state of Michigan off the hook?
Well, first thing I would say, the most important thing here is fixing things for the people of Flint. We've got to make that number one. I do feel that there's another piece on emergency manager, Rachel, I just want to get in, and that is in 2012, we had a ballot proposal passed statewide to repeal the emergency manager. The state legislature and the governor went back and changed the law a little bit and put it back in.
So in a way that it can't be repealed by a vote again.
Right. So I just want to say this is even worse than it sounds.
And if I could just say, took over every black city in Michigan. Took over every black city in Michigan. Flint, Detroit, Ecorse, Detroit Public Schools, Benton Harbor, and has failed at every city he has taken over.
Yes.
I'm putting in emergency management to keep Detroit from going bankrupt. What happened? Detroit goes bankrupt. I mean, it's ludicrous, and anybody who fails at the rate that Governor Snyder has failed, I would have been fired a long time ago. All I gotta say is Governor Snyder gotta go.
Let me also say one thing. I promise I would say to a very special person that I talked with today, and that is President Obama, who wanted me to say thank you to you, wanted me to say thank you to everyone. He loves you and he has your back, and we're going to do everything humanly possibly, federally, to help. However, it does not take the place of the state. Early on, I made sure that we had ready-to-feed formula for WIC moms. The state was not stepping up and acting. We now have stepped up on the ground. We're focused on nutrition. I'm bound determined we're going to get a grocery store in North Flint. We're going to make sure that fresh fruits and vegetables are available to children.
What about Busy Bee?
We're very quickly, Congressman Kildee and Senator Peters and I are very, very quickly going to have an announcement on how we can step up to help with the pipes, as well as Dr. Mona's vision on long-term to invest in children. But Rachel, none of this takes the place of the fact that the state has a surplus and a rainy day fund. They caused it. They have to step up and fix this.
I want to make sure we get some questions and comments from folks here in the audience. What's your name?
My name is Harold Woodson. I'm on the Flint School Board. My question is, we appreciate all the donations of water coming to our district and in our city. That's a temporary fix, but I wonder what we're going to do for a permanent solution. Are we going to bring the Army Corps of Engineers in here to come up with an alternative way of distributing water through the city as we wait for the infrastructure to be repaired?
That's a good question. Senator, do you want to comment on that? Yes. I mean, obviously, that's one of the things that has been floated here, and it sounds radical, but it also sounds real.
Well, I'm happy to do that. I was here all day on Monday meeting with the mayor, meeting with all kinds of folks. Actually, you were in D.C. still. I was meeting with the folks at City Hall. And bottled water is not enough. First of all, the people here deserve the dignity and respect of having water coming out of their faucet. But when I said maybe we need to bring in Department of Defense, maybe we need to have big water tankers and so on, Dr. Mona said, and one of my heroes, Dr. Mona, and Dr. Lurie, who is here for the president, said the fact is what we need right now is to have water filters that fit, that are on all the faucets. Every 2 weeks, they need to have a cartridge replaced. People need to know how to do that. If we had that for businesses as well as homes, I talked to a gentleman on Monday who has a barber shop, and people won't come in and worried about washing their hair in his water. We got to get that fixed. Yeah. And so the water filters are a very important piece of this.
Get the home ones, not the faucet ones.
I don't trust, honestly, anything the state says right now. But when
they got to build the trust back. Their trust is shot. They're not going to trust those faucet ones. You got to get the home ones.
Right. I think we need to take that seriously.
With all due respect, though, and thank you. And yeah. I think water filters are important. But at the end of the day, we have been fighting this for 2 years. Right. Folks have been around here. Right. When I came here 2 years ago, almost a year and a half ago, people were coming up to me with rashes, hair falling out, water didn't smell good. One lady told me that the cat didn't even want to drink the water. I mean, when is enough enough?
Right.
And I think if Governor Snyder wanted to stay in office, but which I believe he shouldn't stay in office, like I said before, if he wanted to stay in office, he need to move to Flint, Michigan, and he need to take a shower right here in Flint, Michigan. Move his family here in Flint, Michigan.
Reverend Charles Williams, President of the National Alliance Network of Michigan, Senator Debbie Stabenow of Michigan, Flint Mayor Karen Weaver, thank you all for being here. I want to tell you that being here in Flint, there is a conclusion that I have come to today, being here today and talking to people that I did not expect to come to. The conclusion that I came to is that this crisis is fixable, that it will be fixed. I believe it. What convinced me of that is next. Stay with us.
You do all this research on the perfect car, gas mileage.